Alright, what is up everyone? It is Friday. A little bit cold out this morning, but want to give a little update because I didn't do any recording yesterday. I was a little bit busy, and I was planning on just doing portions of this and end up doing the whole thing. But yeah, where Alaska's running around there, that's where the playset was. Took it all down yesterday. Actually went down really easy. A lot easier than I expected. Just kind of pulled out the old Harbor Freight chainsaw, ripped through it, took the swing portion down that was just kind of like a beam across, knocked that over, chopped that up, and then from there I just kind of went to town on the rest of it, pushed it over, and kind of just ripped through it and filled up a couple garbage cans, and yeah, it was pretty quick. So got a little bit of other plans going on probably this weekend. So the new playset that I had talked about in the previous video for the girls is going to be showing up. It's supposed to have been here yesterday. Unfortunately, SD's trucking company is terrible about scheduling. Their website said it was going to be here yesterday between 8 and 5. So that's an awesome window. Even the cable company isn't that bad with their scheduling. But it was supposed to have been here yesterday. Hit around 3 o'clock. Nothing. So I called them up. Hey, I took the day off. Where y'all at? Apparently the swing set was in St. Louis. And then was supposed to possibly be here by Monday. And now my wife checked the website and it says it's out for delivery now, even though they haven't called me. So I don't know what's going on with that, but Estes is definitely dropping the ball. This is my first bad run-in with them. But we'll get the new playset here, and probably won't set it up because it's going to go in this back corner here. And unfortunately, that area is really bad about holding water. So having a playset on an area of ground that holds water is not great, right? Don't want kids, slipping around in water and mud and falling and tracking mud in and everything. So this whole area, including area, look at that. Look at that. I just had a little GCI grass seed on, I believe Sunday or Monday. It's already coming up. Had a little bit of Kentucky bluegrass left from my seed experiment, and so I decided to throw that down too, because I'm figuring that area is going to be roughly where the slide is going to end up. So I'm going to need something that can self-repair. So while my whole backyard is GCI tall fescue, I think I'm going to have to put some Kentucky bluegrass to try to self-repair some of these areas that I know is going to be high traffic. But anyway, going to try to figure out what I need to do with this area. Now, being that I am a heavy clay soil, I think my option is going to be I'm going to have to just aerate the crap out of that area, and then once I get the holes pulled up, I'm going to have to get just a lot of sand and try to fill in the holes. I know some of the southern guys do that. They'll aerate and sweep up the plugs, and then they'll fill in the holes with sand. I'm thinking I'm going to have to do the same, because it holds way too much water. It could rain, and then about 2 or 3 days afterwards, I can still hear the backyard kind of like bubbling, where the water is just soaking through that soil. So I think I'm going to have to try do a little bit of a go with that, and I might try to make me a lawn leveling rake to put that in, to get the sand across the ground. Don's Lawns had made one. I was thinking of doing something similar with that angle bracket stuff that I used to hang garage door openers and stuff with. So I got to figure out how to make the handle though, because he had some parts that were kind of like laying around. So I might have to come up with a way to make the handle work. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that's going to be my next little project here in the next couple days. So stay tuned for that. All right, y'all, so I'm going to do something kind of on the whim here. Kids' playset showed up today. We weren't called ahead of time, so it's kind of a surprise delivery. You can kind of see all the setup over there. So I need to kind of haul butt and try to fix part of the backyard. Where this playset is going to go, it is very soupy after it rains for usually 2 to 3 days. So if the kids want to go out and play on the playset, they're going to be dealing with, running through a swamp. I ain't cool with that. I know the wife ain't cool with that. So I need to try to fix this backyard before I put this playset in. Many of you may have already watched Don's Lawns video where he made a lawn leveling rake for about $30. I was thinking almost the exact same thing, using that angle bracket stuff to try to make a lawn leveling rake. However, I did not know how to make the handle work. He ended up having some sort of piece in his garage that he was able to use and attach a broom handle to it. I don't even know what that piece was, so I'm still was kind of trying to scratch my head to figure out how to make the handle. So I think I came up with the idea. So I've got my stuff set up here. So this is pretty much all the exact same stuff that he used. So this is these were 3-foot pre-cut pieces. So I've got 4 of these, 2 there, 2 there. I've already got them marked 1.5 feet in the center, so I can cut these in the middle at 1.5. So I'll have a 3-foot long section by 1.5 foot wide. So that'll give me 1 on each side, and then I'll have the 2 to go in the middle where the handle will ultimately connect to. And now I've got the flat piece here that will go across, kind of diagonal across, kind of like Don did, to keep it from shifting around, and it'll stay a little bit more square. Now, for the handle, since he said he tried PVC and it was too flimsy, it wouldn't work. So let's go with metal. Oh, that was bad. So I'm going to use this iron piece to go across it to be my T-fitting. A bolt will go through each side here onto the leveling rake and mount it to it. And then I've got a 4-foot metal handle that will just thread into the T-fitting. That way I don't have to worry about trying to screw through anything. I don't have to worry about, how is this going to stay sturdy. So it's all metal. It's just going to thread together, a bolt through it, done. It's definitely not under $30. I can give you a full price list and itemized part numbers, because I do have the receipt. So we can do a quick rundown. I also bought a bunch of topsoil to fill in some of the spots where the old playset was, as well as some spots in the back along my little hill I got there is all bumpy. So we've got parts here. So here's pretty much everything I had. Yeah, about $55 maybe, and then there's looks like maybe about $4 in the hardware, the nuts and bolts and stuff. Those, I got some lock washers. That was $248. That's a 5/16 inch. The hex nut, I got 10 of those. Again, 5/16 and those were 5/16 by 18, I believe. And got just some regular old machine screws that were also a 5/16. So we'll dump out the bag here. So that's pretty much all we got. So here's the screws. Those go in there nicely. We got the nuts, 5/16 inch nuts. We got some lock washers. Flip those around, you can see all the part numbers. Just to make it easy for y'all, because honestly, I sat at Lowe's for about 25 minutes trying to figure out what I needed. So there you go. These are Hillman. So you got the hex nuts. I got 2 bags of those, 5/16 by 18, grade 5. Here are your split lock washers, 5/16. There's your lot number. And then I got 2 bags of these machine screws, 5/16 by 18, stainless steel. So there you go. Those are your parts that I used. So now, essentially all I gotta do is cut this in half and start putting stuff together. So I will check back here in a couple minutes once I get this all done, since y'all don't want to watch me just cut on metal and cut my fingers off, so I'll check back. All right, so we've got stuff pseudo bolted together. So I moved it in a little bit because, as you can see, you have a bigger hole here and then a regular round hole. So it was an odd shaped hole here. So I just went the next one into a regular round hole. Maybe it might keep these bolts from kind of shifting around a little bit. So those are at least tightened down so they're not going anywhere. Now, for this part, trying to find the center. Come around here. So I've marked my center here on each side. So trying to get this on center for these, that would put me roughly there. I think we're good there. So now I've got this in the middle. I had to make sure that this would actually fit. So with that, I've got my center. So now I'm going to bolt these guys together. And then I got to find a bolt long enough to go through it because I did not get a bolt for that guy. So that, I might have to find something in the garage. All right, so I got the flat bracket cut down, except I realized something. I thought if I just cut it in half, I'd have enough for both sides. Wah, wah. So I'm going to try to just bolt this up as it is with one of them, and we'll see if it'll keep it from moving. If not, I'm probably gonna have to make another trip for another one of those guys. All right, so I got everything put together. I did happen to find a bolt that will at least temporarily work for my handle. I found something on the old place that's just an old carriage bolt, but it had the lock nut and a nut, or lock washer and a nut, I should say. So it did fit onto it. I did have to kind of move around. It's not sitting dead center because some of these holes weren't exactly the same on each side, so I couldn't get the bolt through. But I think for now, this may work. So we'll get this threaded in, and I believe now I should be able to go out back, aerate the yard, and we will see how this guy works, I guess. I'm trying to get this cap off with one hand. Come on. Come on. I'm screwing my thing into the hole.
Looks like there's little feet on the bottom of these.
Yep. This is lawn stripes, everyone. Come on. Hold the thing so I can put it in the hole.
Oh, that's the bolt from the thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Cool.
I think this will work. Let's give it a try. All right, there it is. So it's actually been I don't know, 4 or 5 days since we got this guy together. It's kind of slacking on giving updates because has stuff going on with work and just overall tired. Sometimes I slack. Oh well. So here's kind of the update of what went down with the lawn leveling rake and the aerating and the seed. Well, not necessarily the seed. I did put some of that down, but some of the sand that I put down and leveling out the soil in some of the areas. So everything put together there. Sand's pooper scooper. And so with tall fescue being cut at roughly 3.5 inches, trying to run the leveling rake across that, not so great. Even if I had more side supports going through it to try to level things out a little bit more, give it a little bit more consistent, it's still gonna be bouncing around across all this fescue, right? So across the sand over here, can't see the sand anymore. It's already rained a few times. Everything is pretty well worked down into the soil, but I kind of took my mower, just did about 5 passes, come around this whole area that I know gets very swampy. Just aerated the living crap out of it. Got about 200 pounds of sand, ran across it, did what I could with the leveling rake, and then everything else that was kind of sitting around on top of the fescue,
I just took a regular leaf rake and kind of just raked around to try to get it down to the soil and work its way into the aeration holes. And I did go through and I picked up all of the plugs off the ground to make sure those wouldn't end up back into the holes. Really try to get everything nice and smooth through there and get everything worked down in there. Seems like it, since it has rained a few times, it has seemed to help. Now keep in mind that this isn't going to be a one-time deal. I'm probably going to have to do this probably every fall for at least a few years to be able to try to get that sand worked in there and yeah, get that keyword percolation. Try to get that percolation of water working its way through the soil and kind of keep everything nice and at least pseudo dry back there after it rains. Now, after I did it this past time, we got quite a bit of rain. Seemed to have helped, so I think if I do this a few more times, should be good. But I did want to get everything kind of ran through there before I put that playset together, because as you can see, we get a little bit close to the trees over here, and I've only got a few feet along the back of the playset, so I won't be able to get my tractor through there with my plug aerator. So that means most likely I am going to have to get one of those hand aerators that has the 2 prongs on it and just go kind of around the playset and do that manually. Oh well, that shouldn't be that bad in that small of an area anyway. So I think all that worked out good. I did use the lawn leveling rake over here, try to hit up some of the soil and get that all filled in. There's a little bit up through here, and it wasn't 100%, but as I hit some of the spots where my center blocks were here and up here, those did drag across it pretty well. And there's some bumps over here. I will have to get a few more bags to get that all worked in, but it did help. So at least all was not lost. It was $55 or so to build the thing, and it kind of helped me out a little bit, so I'll take it. So now the next step is I've got a shed I got to build. That's not going to be Connor Ward quality. You know, I'm probably not going to be insulating the floors. Probably not going to be doing all this plumbing and electrical all running through it. But it is going to be a 12 by 20, so it's going to be a decent size. So at least next time I get in trouble for buying another lawnmower, I can sleep out in the shed with the lawnmower. Alright, so one of the last things I got for, I guess this video, and I'll close it out. This tree right here. This thing is leaning extremely bad. See the trunk there. We'll go around this side and you can get a really good glimpse of how bad this is. Like so. It's pretty bad. So, luckily, I have some neighbors that are already taking down some trees, and they're grinding down the stump right now. They ran a stump grinder while they're down the street hitting a couple of the other neighbors. I'm going to go ahead and drop this tree so when we come through I can grind this stump up as well. So I want to get to cutting this guy down.